rather important. And if we could all stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, it's up here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to inform the public that tonight we have Mayor Dean Mazzarella participating remotely. So he is on the phone, and hopefully we can hear him, and if not, Christine can relay. Can you hear her? No, not you, the mayor. The mayor, we're trying to see if he can hear us. Okay. He said just like he was sitting next. Okay. He is sitting next. He is. Okay, there you go. Excellent. I'm going to read our school committee statement. The committee represents the needs of all Leominster Public School students and places their interests above all others. We will exercise leadership, adhere to our protocols, and base our decision upon a reasoned assessment of all available information. We will advocate for each of our schools and support high-quality public education in Leominster. Okay, having said that, we are going to open up for the public comment section of our meeting tonight. If you would like to address the committee, please come up to the microphone, state your name and your address for the record, please. Each person will be limited to 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Hi, Jen Piper, 104 Center Road. It's been a long time since I've sat here. It's so nice. So my purpose for sitting in front of you tonight is that I wanted on the record that the Leominster Education Association, the Executive Board, did pass a resolution in November. So I wanted to share it with you, and I wanted it to be on record this evening. And I will give a copy to Chris. So basically the resolution is in support of full funding for our public schools. And you know that this is something that the communities right now are working very diligently on to get the legislators to make sure that our schools are fully funded. So, as you know, there is a democracy within the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and that all of our students, no matter where they live, deserve high-quality public schools that teach the whole child and provide them with a rich school experience that addresses their academic, social, and emotional needs. The state's foundation budget formula, which determines state aid to each district, has been out of date for many years. The last time it was updated was in 1993. Thereby underfunding our districts by more than $1 billion a year. If this formula was updated, Leominster alone would receive an additional $7.3 million in funding to educate the students in our district. So the legislature failed to pass any foundation budget legislation in the last session, leaving us still in this situation where we're underfunded. So the Leominster Education Association urges the legislature to approve and fully fund a new foundation budget by May 1st. So I just wanted that on record, and I will give that to Chris. And on a side note, I appreciate all of you that have attended forums within the last couple of weeks at Pittsburgh State, and then we just had one at Skyview last week. So thank you for being invested in this with us. It feels nice to be able to stand with you on something. It's nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Please step forward, and there's a list.
Hi, my name is Isabel Falk. I live 23 Lawrence Avenue, Leominster. I'm a junior at Leominster Center for Excellence, and I came here today.
Mic is on. A little closer to you.
I came here today to stand up for what I believe
Is that better for the audience?
along with other families that came here. I'm speaking because I disapprove the idea of
Excuse me, I apologize, but could you double check that the mic is on because people can't hear you in there? Tap it. Yeah, so there's a button right up here. If you could push it forward. There you go. We want to make sure everyone can hear you.
All right, shall I start again?
Sure. Yes, please.
All right. My name is Isabel Falk. I live 23 Lawrence Avenue, Leominster. I'm a junior at Leominster Center for Excellence, and I came here to stand up for what I believe in, along with the other families that came here as well. I'm speaking because I disapprove the idea of the move to LHS. I strongly believe that the cultures between LHS and LCE will not mix. And in fact, some students will leave LCE if we do decide to move to LHS. I'm wondering where my school will go in LHS. If that means 4 classrooms, we have no room to expand. And the environment we have cannot just be taken and moved, especially with one filled with past memories of other students. What I'm trying to say is, if the move is official, it'll be very hard, near impossible on students and families. Again, leading some students to leave LCE. And I personally know some of these people that are going to leave LCE if this happens. I don't want to lose them, and I'm sure you don't want to lose them either. Either way, our fate is decided tonight, so thank you.
Thank you.
Jason Jefferson?
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jason Jefferson. I live on 214 Pleasant Street, and I am a student at LCE. It is critical for many of the students that attend LCE to remain at this location on 98 Adams Street. There is an amount of students here that have been a victim of bullying and have come here to form a community. I have seen students come here when they were depressed or angry, but the school changed them for the better because there's an established group of people here that are willing to help each other when they need it. The students here are thriving because they are provided with a comfortable space to educate themselves that they would not find in a normal high school building or maybe not even at home. If we were to move the building, I don't think the community we created would be able to stand as independent as it does now. And not only does the school provide a safe community for students to learn, but also some unique opportunities. Some of these opportunities are exclusive to the area the school is located in. Activities such as walking to the YMCA, Barrett Park, and the library will be very difficult or near impossible. There's also so much that comes with this location. It would be a terrible loss for the students if we were to lose it. In conclusion, I don't think that sacrificing the building is worth harmfully impacting a student's education by putting them in unfavorable social circumstances. I hope you consider what I have said, and when you decide whether to move the school or not, thank you for listening.
If anybody next, just going to get the list. Sure. Noel? No one? Looks like.
Are you still there?
Hi.
Yes, I am.
Okay. My name is Noel Tabat. I'm a sophomore at LCE. My whole life, I've been switching around different schools. I've done homeschool, online school, Catholic school. I've tried everything to avoid going to a big public high school because I know that personally for me, I can't learn in that kind of environment. I do my best in small and quiet places. So when I found LCE last year, it felt like a miracle. And I heard so many bad things about our school, like people would tell me it's for problem students and that only troubled kids go there. But when I went there, I was greeted with nothing but kindness, and all the staff was so kind and helpful to me, and I really quickly made a lot of friends. My school makes me feel like I can do anything if I put my mind to it. But on the issue of moving our school to LHS, I found that most of the students at LCE are like me, that we flourish in small and quiet places, and we don't feel anxious in our small place, we feel safe, and a lot of us didn't feel that way in a bigger school. So we all chose to go to LCE. We wanted that quiet and private place, and we didn't want to go to a big public high school. I feel like we all do learn and socialize and just go about our days in a way we wouldn't be able to if we were in a big space like LHS, and I truly believe that moving us there would ruin everything we have. Thank you.
I'm
I'm Tree McReynolds. I live at 177 West Street here in Leominster. My daughter is a senior with LCE. And as stated last week in our other meeting, I'm here for the underclassmen, the kids that are going to remain after my kid's gone. Something was brought up at the last meeting, and I'm going to out myself here. Someone had mentioned that children are cruel and they say mean things. I was that kid in high school. I would have been the first one to call them all romper rooms. And unfortunately, as much as we would like to have all the hope for the children that are at Leominster High to be wonderful and accepting, most of us in our 50s know the truth, and there's some mean kids. Hopefully they're going to grow up and be decent human beings. It can happen. But in the meantime, it worries me that we're going to subject them to ridicule if they are moved to the high school. I've asked to be on any committee that will help in, if we need to look for a new location, to look for a new location. I hate to see the money that's already been spent on the build-out go away, because when we move to another new location, that's another build-out cost. It would be ideal if they could stay where they are and continue in the community that they're in, because they are flourishing. Most of these kids that are graduating this year, while they're all bright and intelligent, had they been in other circumstances, probably would have been added to your dropout rate. They probably would have not continued. I know my own kid wouldn't have. But she's graduating. She's doing really good, and she is quite proud of that. She's probably more proud of that than I am. And I'm pretty proud. But that's my piece. Like I said, please invite me to any community you need that I can assist with, because my goal is for all the underclassmen. I feel that strongly about this group, location, and everything to do with it.
Thank you. John Thompson?
Hi, my name is Dawn Thompson. I live at 1066 Pleasant Street in Leominster. My son is a sophomore at LCE, and we've had 4 children go through the school system, and one was successful only since going to LCE. We always knew he was capable, was told he was capable, but we didn't understand what the difference was until this school addressed him as a whole person. And we've watched him become confident and giving back to the community now, doing internships, community service, and most importantly, for a curriculum point of view, doing his schoolwork on his own. Instead of being a minority in a big school, these kids are a majority in their own school. And that's like a home to them. They're able to succeed instead of looking at maybe what they might think they should be doing. They're doing what they are capable of and what they're the best at. And these kids are amazing. And just to see them in their space and to see how comfortable they are, I never imagined that. Never. So, thank you.
Thank you. Charlie?
My name is Darlene Henry. I live at 79 House Street all my life. My grandson goes to LCE. He is doing much better than being in the traditional classroom setting, which he struggled with all the past schools that he went to. He was so bothered by hearing that there's a possibility going to LHS. He said, I can't do it, Ellen, you have to find me another school. So if he thrives in the smaller settings with a close-knit group like that, teachers are fabulous. They can spend more one-on-one time with them, and they can get the better education and studies that they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to address the committee? Please step forward.
at LCE. For me, I never really knew as a person like what I wanted to do. I was always questioning what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, and where I wanted to see myself go in my future. Being at Leominster High, I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but then it slowly fell apart because of different circumstances. Coming to LCE, I have officially found through internships what I really want to do. I want to go out and I want to be a guidance counselor. So without being at a school like LCE, I would not have been able to figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. They have changed me to become a better person, not just like through academics, but as a better person, just as an individual. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to address? Please come forward. Are we singing tonight?
If you want me to.
No, we do.
I'm Chris Castro. I am a senior at the Leominster Center for Excellence, and I live at 37A Terrace Drive. I'm really sick tonight, so sorry.
Everybody is.
But LC is this new kind of innovative idea that we're not very used to yet. It's still fresh, still very, very, very fresh. And moving to this new location, I still feel like I haven't gotten to completely fill my time in that place because we made the transition so quickly, and I really enjoyed being in that location and in that space as much as the Doyle Conservation Area, which is where we were before, because it still had that same environment, that same feeling. When I found myself in a negative area, I wanted to move myself from that place, that environment. I never wanted to be there. If there was a fight happening at my house, go to a friend's house, because I don't want to be in that same place. But if I was forced to come back to my house after that argument had happened, it's just an uncomfortable, thick atmosphere. And that's just how it would kind of feel for me if I was one of the underclassmen who are beside me, going back to the LHS physical location, that same uncomfortableness that we walked away from when we embraced this new location of LCE, will kind of come back to them. And that's where a lot of the anxieties and fears are happening. And once that kind of image is created in your head, it's kind of hard to just eliminate that completely and go about your time continuing your education. Because that same thickness in the atmosphere, when you walk through that area, knowing what took place there for you, they all have different experiences of negativity that has happened, as well as I do. That thickness is not going to leave in the atmosphere. It's still going to bug, and it's going to halt a lot of them from continuing to learn the way that y'all intended us to in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to address the committee?
Hi, I'm Michael. I live at 49 Oakland Street in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. I have friends that go to LCE, and I think that from the friends that I've made that go there, I've heard nothing but success stories. I have never heard a bad story about it. There's where I volunteer at FATV in Fitchburg. We have an intern there, and she's doing very well. She loves it there, and I don't know if eliminating where they are currently to expand the school and moving it into high school, I think that's only going to dampen the growing of the community and being able to have kids that can go to the school to flourish because they're doing an internship. Because a lot of the times that I talk to a lot of other high schoolers and they don't know what they want to do in life. So finding that the intern that we have at FATV, it's like a way for them to be able to find out what they want to do in life. And whether it's there or somewhere else, I think that just moving it into a smaller location and just not being able to expand and grow the school, even though it's in a small community size now, and you don't want it to get too big, otherwise it will get out of hand. Then I think just eliminating the community factor and separating it from the high school, I think that will just end up making it worse. I think that it should be kept apart from the high school, and so that it won't prevent it from growing any more than it will possibly.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Austin. I live on 32 River Street here in Leominster. My daughter is a sophomore at LCE. When looking at this picture and this program, at first I wasn't too sure about it, but then I looked at the overall goal where it's teaching them not only academics, it's teaching them life skills, it's giving them the opportunity to search out different career goals that they want to do. And I think where they feel so comfortable where they're at, if you put them in with a regular high school, I think they're just going to end up losing their tracks. Sorry, because it has done so much for my daughter. I just think you'd have a better successful rate keeping them where they are. Whereas if you put them with the high school, more than half of them are probably going to just like float away and just not be in school and not be, you know, high functioning people into society, which is what we need. You know, we hear on the news, this happened and that happened, and it's really, really sad. And more programs need to, this kind of school needs to be around everywhere, kind of. And if we take that away, that's not going to happen, because eventually the program will probably just dissolve. I know a lot of the kids are hurting about this, and this is their safe spot, and, you know, I would hate, you know, really looking at them, how can you really vote no, saying you can't go to your school, you feel safe anymore? But that's all I'd like to say.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to address the committee? Please come forward.
Hi, my name is Steph Ramos. I've been at LC for 3 years. Went to LHS freshman year for about a couple months. Wasn't the best fit for me. I'm not really into school that much, never really was, academic-wise. Ever since I've been at LC, to be honest, they have really helped me, the staff, not only the staff, but the students as well, helped me not only figure out what I want to do in life, but just be a better person. Like, you know, there's a lot of kids that attend LHS, and there's not a lot of kids that attend LCE, and our school is one of those schools that, the kids that go to our school, they're smart kids, very, very smart kids, and I see a lot of our students doing big things in life, like just, you know, doing great things, and I'm not taking that away from LHS, I'm not saying that they're dumb, I'm not saying that they're uneducated, I'm just saying that the people that I've met in my school are great people. And I want to see them succeed as much as I want to see my own self succeed. And I've seen that through our school. They've helped me so much. And to see that kind of go to the place where I try to get away from it really hurts a lot. It feels like it's almost taking a step back. That's it.
Thank you. Anybody else like to address the committee? Please come forward. And if you also would like to address the committee, just as soon as one person leaves, come on up.
Hi, my name is Corey. I'm a senior at LCE. So, sorry, I'm anxious.
Doing fine.
So, my years at LCE have been nothing but great. I have never experienced as much support as I have at LCE anywhere else. They've helped me so much, like with communication skills, everything. And I wouldn't be doing this right now if like I didn't go there. I was always like the weird one in throughout school, and I never made friends easily. At LCE, I've made like so many friends and just so much support. Sorry. I was a victim of bullying, and I've self-harmed before, and without them, I probably wouldn't be alive right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would anybody else like to address the committee? Please come forward.
My name is Joshua Gray. I'm a junior at LCE. This is my first year here. And I am really loving it here. My experiences at LHS were kind of like, I had like a lot of anxiety just going there. Like I didn't, and just going here, like I've never received as much support as I have back in LHS. And I've gotten a lot more socially active with a lot of people in this community because of it. And be more thankful of everyone here for just bringing me to where I am now. This is where the kind of environment I've always wanted to be in. I'm really happy.
All right, thank you. Please step forward. And why don't you just come up and be on tap for be on deck. Next person.
So hi, my name's Michelle Fenner. I have a freshman daughter that goes to the school, and clearly, as you can see, it's quite a supportive environment for all of them. They all seem to have one thing in common. Maybe it's a little oddness or a little higher anxiety than the average kid, but they really make it work. And I do believe that they are all on the same page as they're very, very anxious about potentially moving to LHS. So I hope that you keep this in mind, that they support each other, they grow together, and this big picture environment has really changed a lot of these kids' lives. And if you expand it, you have another group of kids that may be able to experience the same thing that these kids are experiencing. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Carrie Colson. I live at 142 Water Street, and my daughter is also a freshman at LCE. She never really had a problem academically. She did go to this school. She went to Skyview. It was 8th grade, something just clicked and she started having anxiety, social anxiety, and she just could not handle even, she didn't miss a lot of school, but when she would wake up, she would cry for hours as she's getting ready. She'd come home from school, do her homework till 10 o'clock and still get upset the whole time. I took her out of school for a little while and tried homeschooling. It wasn't for her because she did need social interaction. And she has a few friends that she's been friends with since Northwest. That was another reason she kind of went back. Her thought of going to the high school, they spent some time there for a day, I guess, and she was very, very nervous about this. And I understand that this isn't about getting rid of the program. I know the program's going to stay. It's going to be here. It's about the kids. A lot of them, as Michelle said, have social anxiety or don't fit in somewhere or feel like they don't fit in, I should say. They need to feel safe. They may not succeed otherwise if they weren't at LCE. And to be honest, I didn't know what to expect when she decided to go there. She didn't know what to expect. I figured,
Your 2 minutes is up.
oh, it took 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
I'm hoping that you do keep this where it is and not throw them into a larger space. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Megan Odell. I'm a junior at Leominster Center of Excellence, and I'm against the move. In elementary school, I was the all AP student. I was the kid that wouldn't stop talking, but also the kid that knew when to stop talking and yelling a little bit. When I went to middle school, I had developed an anxiety and depression disorder, which was tough. I started missing more days than I normally did. Tops was like 40 a year. I would get bad grades, and I didn't try. When I went to LHS, it was the same thing. I had given up a lot. With my anxiety, I can't be in big places. It's just me. And when I was at LHS, I did have good experiences. I made a lot of friends, a lot of connections. However, it just made me petrified. I was also the girl that my mom would have to drag me out of my room just to get me there. Again, I had a lot of good experiences there, but I'm not only thinking of myself with anxiety, I'm thinking of all the other students and all the other kids that I know want to come to LCE in the following years for the same reason. LCE has provided a safe place for me, and honestly, without LCE, I wouldn't be up here right now. They've pushed me to do this in so many good ways, and I've never been happier.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Grace Jefferson. I graduated from Leominster High School 1 year ago, and my little brother attends LCE. And I just wanted to say that LCE was like a great experience for him. I love seeing him go to school with a smile on his face every day. I graduated high school with a 1.9 GPA. Like, I was miserable every day attending Leominster High School. And if I can see him going into school with a smile on his face every day, that'd be great. Like, he loves where it is. He's getting a great education, and I'd love to see him stay there.
Hi, my name is Lenny Ray Martin Seidel, and I'm at 65 Jordan's Way in Leominster. And I'm here tonight tonight because I have a child who is a senior at LCE. One thing you hear, it seems to be a theme, is that all of the students at LCE, they're there for a specific purpose. They're there because it's an innovation school. It teaches differently and it does it away from the large populace of the high school. You wouldn't see a magnet school or a charter school shoved into Leominster High School. It's separate for a reason. I happen to have a job where I work at several different schools in the area, and not just Leominster, but Fitchburg and Gardner as well. And I'm at the high school a few days a week, and there are students there that I work with that I've seen the bullying that goes on personally. I've seen it. I've seen them videotaping each other having fistfights outside in the schoolyard. And these are things that are posted on YouTube. And this is one of the reasons that these students need to remain in a facility that's off-site. These students have already tried the mainstream and it hasn't worked. So there's like 60 kids in the school right now. And if you take those 60 kids and then put them into Leominster High, even though it's slightly separate, they're still going to be mixed in with all of those students. And I mean, even if you take half out, if half of them choose to go out to a different alternative school, then we're looking at funding to pay for them to be school choice out of Leominster. The other half, even if half of them end up dropping out, that's a 15, at least 15 to 20 kids dropping out, and that increases the Leominster High dropout rate. So when we're looking at, is it worth it, we have to look at, these numbers in addition to the amount of money that was spent just renovating the area that they're at now. So in addition to all of these heartfelt stories that these kids are telling you, that if they move, I mean, this is a large turnout for 60 students at a school. And these kids are saying they can't do it, they can't make it, they don't want to do it. So if we move this school, we're basically telling 60 kids, maybe you'll make it. And I would hate to think that we would send that message. Thank you.
Thank you. One last and final time, would anybody else like to address the committee? Having no one coming forward, that portion of our meeting. Oh, I'm sorry. Please come forward. I can see you back there.
My name is Emil Dargis. I live at 16 Mockingbird Lane here in Leominster, and I have a granddaughter that attends LCE. Also, having been a teacher in Leominster for over 30 years, I had the experience of seeing many students who could succeed tremendously in a regular school environment. I've seen students who never reached their potential, and unfortunately I've seen some students who have to drop out. We're very fortunate here in Leominster to have a location like LCE where students are able to attend, students with anxiety, students with fears, students who are now given a chance to succeed. When my granddaughter went there, she's a very good student, but she had a tough time just going to school every day. Now I see her blossoming. She's doing tremendously well. And I know if LCE is not there next year or at the high school, she won't be attending school in Leominster. And I hope that we're able to keep this program. I hope we're able to keep it separate from the high school. Thank you.
One last time, please come forward. And if anybody else is going to address the committee, if you could please come up and be on standby so we can move this portion along.
Hi, my name is Pamela Lockman. I live at 138 Helena Street in Leominster. My daughter is Megan Odell, and I had actually sent out an email to the entire school committee, along with the state rep and the superintendent. Out of all that, the superintendent, one of the state rep, and one council member responded back to me. And it's sort of disappointing that only 2 city council or school committee members had responded. And I put all my thoughts out there, my personal and my daughter's in that email.
and really hope that more people would have responded to hear what I had to say on my behalf and on the behalf of my daughter. I'm not sure what my daughter had already said, but she went 2 years at Leominster High and missed a tremendous amount of school. Her grades were awful. Her father and I looked into LCE. She went there, she went for the interview, obviously is going there. Her grades have improved dramatically. She hangs around with a really good group of kids. And like I said in the email, if there's any issues at the school, I can talk to her teacher through phone calls, through emails. It's total open door policy, and I know it's open door with Megan, with her teachers there. And like I said, I caught it at the tail end, but some of these parents, you know, you're probably just looking at 60 students, but these are 60 students that could make a huge difference. And, you know, regardless of what they're gonna do in their future, they all have the option to do an internship. You know, they could get careers out of this. They can go to colleges. They can do so many things. And, okay.
Thank you. I do think,
I just want to point out, I can only speak for myself. I did not get your email.
and I didn't get it either.
Everybody that was listed on the website for the school committee?
Our emails have changed.
Because I would have certainly responded. We need to get this.
Yeah, we need to change our email.
Because I'm not happy. I'm getting flattered with this. I'm not happy. Please.
Okay, everybody's name that was on the website for the school committee, those were the ones that the emails went to.
Right. Those emails are wrong, that's
The
what we
emails,
Okay.
just the email address changed for the school system, so that's why we didn't get it, and that's why we didn't respond to you, so.
Okay.
Apologize, but hopefully, maybe we can get you the right email and you can resend it.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. All right, would anybody else like to address one last and final time, would anybody else like to address the committee? Having no one coming forward, we're going to close that portion of the committee, of the meeting, I'm sorry. At this point, we're going to do communications.
There are no communications this evening.
Superintendent's report.
Before I say anything, I'm so taking attendance tomorrow at LCE. This is a great turnout.
Yes.
So I know there's a parade. Everybody better be in school because the weather's going to be great. No delays or anything else. So tomorrow's weather is a superintendent's dream. There's a few things going around in the city that I just want to make everybody aware of. First off, we have K registration kickoff. That's starting on February 26th in our Parent Information Center. We've moved this process up 2 months, and we have appointments already set up. We have night hours, day hours, if we have to extend. But we're excited to jump in front of this process instead of doing that one Saturday where parents, you know, are here for hours, and you know it's always the startup of softball, soccer, you name it. It's just a very difficult day, but everything is in line. February 26th, please get your appointments in. Call our Parent Information Center. They're already booking into March, correct, Ms. Monday? She's here tonight. So that's actually exciting news moving forward. The other piece is we have this box top citywide challenge going on, and I hope you've heard about it. We've been working closely with our PTOs, and our PTOs do a lot for our students above and beyond what we can afford. They bring in events and speakers, and they pay for field trips, and you wouldn't believe the tens of thousands of dollars they give back to our students, all the way up to scholarships. So in all of our schools, they collect these little box tops off the top of products. I don't cook, but I hear they're on everything. So the schools themselves, with the limited amount that come in, have raised each building thousands by themselves. So when I met with the PTO presidents and I go to the building-based PTO meetings, I heard this trend, and I really want you to understand the work of PTOs and these volunteers, these moms and dads and teachers and students that get involved, all just to provide a little extra. It's amazing. It's all volunteer and it's nonstop.
So the mayor kicked it off for us a couple weeks ago, and there is a box top made by CTI students in every city department. They're in our police departments, our fire department, our libraries, city hall, senior center, you name it, there's a box top. So those of you that love to shop and cook, start ripping. We're hoping to really make a dent and give all this money back to the schools and to our PTOs to continue to do what they do. They've brought technology and you name it. Those volunteers are there for our kids every single time. So it's kind of fun. There's a trophy involved, right? Everybody loves a trophy. So we're gonna have some fun with the whole city. And lastly, I want to mention that tomorrow evening up at Skyview, there is a really important forum happening, and it's hosted by Representative Higgins and Garlick. And this is a community discussion because something near and dear to my heart is around SEL and the continuum of mental health services. And this discussion, and it's a resource fair regarding mental health and substance use and recovery. It's the right information, the right time. So that's being held between 5 and 8 o'clock, Skyview. It's just another layer that we can add on to our initiative this year to push out our SEL and mental health components. So if you can, please take advantage of that. And thank you.
Thank you very much. The mayor has requested that we move up the LCE task force recommendations up in the agenda, since we have a lot of folks waiting to hear about that. So I need to have someone make a motion and decide whether that's something everybody's comfortable with. Just move that forward. Second. All those in favor? Anybody opposed? Okay, we'll move that up and we'll deal with that now. LCE task force recommendations.
Great, thank you. I'm going to ask Dr. Dobzinski to join me. If you could come sit up here. And this evening, Ms. Duff was supposed to join us, but she is dealing with a very critical issue in her family. I speak to her pretty much daily, so I just want to respect her privacy. But she has spoken also with Dr. Dobzinski. One of our moms from LCE told me they call it the Duff. So if I go to the Duff, that's what I'm talking about. So this evening, I am bringing forth the recommendation from the LCE task force. The history of this working group began in October when the school department was notified that our lease in the Whitney building would expire on June 30th of 2019. With a possible relocation of the school occurring, I felt a review of the mission, the vision, and outcomes were necessary prior to activating the RFP process. It's imperative that the school's needs inform decision-making. Too often, we let the tail wag the dog. The team and meetings were assembled by Mr. Ned Pratt, Director of Pupil Services. Participants included members from LCE, the principal, guidance, parent, student. From LHS, we had the principal and staff member. 2 school committee members, thank you again, Sue and Ron, for participating, and our teacher union president, Jen Kiefer. A member of the district staff provided data and resources upon request. As we began, Ms. Duff outlined the detailed history of the school's pathway to date and did an eloquent job in educating all members regarding the philosophy of big picture learning. And remember, we are the only one in Massachusetts. By December 12th, the committee came to consensus and crafted as a team the following statement, and this is what's before you this evening. The committee favors a model for LCE that would situate at Leominster High School's Center for Technology Innovation. While there are members of the committee that would prefer that LCE remain separate from LHS and CTI, there are no members who favored abolishing LCE. The committee would support broadening and expanding the types of programmatic approaches that are at the core of the LCE mission. So the most important part that came out of this team is that LCE is a viable school and program. It works. Staff, schedules, and programming will not change, including small class sizes, advisories, and internships. Those will remain. This is a celebration within itself, as it has been controversial prior. This statement was sent to members of the team for feedback. When I received the recommendation, I spoke with the administrative leaders to begin developing a plan of action. Possible spaces, flexible schedules have been discussed to ensure the integrity of LCE's identity as its own school. It was important to me to invite parents and students to a forum to provide transparency of the process and possible change or changes. The meeting was well attended and many members spoke, as they did here this evening. Quickly, it was apparent how strong and powerful the culture and relationships are at LCE. Many felt they needed to defend the school and what they had gained by participating in this innovative path of learning. It was also very clear that some were experiencing some anxiety or fear of possibly being placed back on the high school campus. Much of what I heard spoke to the need to not only address the mental well-being of attendees, but the respect level that had been missing since the inception. With continued conversations, visits, and research, I am of the opinion to support the recommendation in which an effort to bring equity to every available resource, whether it's our art programs, which are remarkable in themselves, or our mental health supports, which has a continuum of services, including multiple guidance counselors, a behaviorist, social workers, and on, to also provide opportunities for our ELL students. They have to opt out of services in which to attend LCE. We have clubs, teams, coursework, labs, you name it. This opportunity is not only to those currently enrolled, but to any Leominster Public School student. Many of the current LCE students and their families have not experienced our current high school campus, which houses two full and separate identified schools with their own administration. And we have the addition of an alternate pathway focused on personal learning. Collectively, with strong attention to incorporate SEL every day and every way, staff and students are in celebration of multiple teaching and learning styles. Over 1,800 students are given the daily potential for fluid accessibility to engage in what they need versus what we can provide. Because this journey is now at a place of respect and of potential for growth, I request that the school committee vote to support the recommendation from the task force in an effort to accomplish what big picture learning set out to do, which is to provide student agency from a growth mindset for up to 120 students who would flourish under its pedagogy. All our students should be provided this unique and remarkable opportunity should they choose it. Our educational goal is to promote not only competent young adults, but confident ones. Thank you. And I've asked Dr. Dobzinski as well to speak.
Sure. I just want to thank everybody for speaking tonight. It was genuine, it was real, and it was emotional. I know it wasn't easy for everybody to do that, but you should be commended for coming here this evening. Mr. Castro, I also will run your campaign whenever you run for office. Okay.
I've already got that.
Okay.
Manager.
I guess I'm working for her again.
Yeah.
I want to, first of all, say thank you to the committee of the task force, led by Mr. Pratt. I was at all meetings with Mrs. McReynolds and Chris Castro, and I just have to say the tone of every meeting was a positive tone. There was not any disrespect. Every voice was heard, and I thought it was a great sharing of programs. And I have great hope, if the program comes to the high school, that it's a win-win situation for everyone. I need to step back a little bit because I think at times tonight the high school was portrayed in a negative light because it's big. And although we're far from perfect, I need to just tell you that I am blessed with 1,800 terrific young kids, yes, that sometimes make mistakes, and 200 faculty members that give their all every single day. And I would be remiss if I just let the negative tone at times tonight go unanswered. I also need to say that in our district, in the last 14 months, we have a new superintendent, new assistant superintendent, new curriculum and assessment team, new PIC center coordinator, new high school principal, new high school assistant principal, new athletic director. A lot has changed. I met with Ms. Duff recently, and we're excited about collaboration. We're excited to work together. And quite frankly, I will quote Mr. McCaughey, who runs our alternative program at the high school. We are prepared to steal some of your ideas from big picture learning, such as externships, and some of those great opportunities that you have every day. And we're also excited for you to share and steal some of our ideas and some of our resources. As we mentioned, in one of the great examples I always use is the art program. If you have an artistic student at LC that would like to take AP art, that is also available. We have great socio-emotional resources for you. I, for one, am really looking forward to this opportunity. I, for one, am looking forward to reconnecting with some of our kids that maybe haven't had a great experience in Leominster. I don't see it as being thrown into a large high school. I see it separate, I see it maintaining its identity, and I see it growing stronger and being able to share with us all of the things that you've become. Also, district-wide this year, there is a huge emphasis on socio-emotional learning, and I think this ties in very nicely with what we're trying to do. I just see it as a win-win for everybody involved. And so that's where I am. And I'm just going to say, you are welcome. As your door is open door policy, ours is as well. If you have questions, if you want to come see the high school, the door is always open, all of you, anytime. So I'm going to just say, give us another chance. If it didn't work out the first time, give us another chance. There is no talk, and that was the big theme. There was no talk of dismantling a program. There was a talk of moving a program, and I do understand, because Chris and Mrs. McReynolds were very, very eloquent in staying put. As a committee, I think we heard every opinion, and I just want to thank you for your commitment to this as well as the committee members on it.
School committee members, and
before we have open discussion, I just want to ask that we're careful with our language, because LCE is not a program, it's an innovation school. So we're taking something from it when we just call it program. So I just want us to be careful with our language. We wouldn't call, we have 3 specific high schools, so let's just call it a school and not a program. That's my only request.
And we're going to hold on to the DESI code regardless. I mean, it has its own principal, it has its own teachers, it has its
so I
own
just
schedule.
want us to be aware of our language while we discuss them. They're sitting here.
My apologies.
Yeah,
it wasn't just you, I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
So you know how.
I got you.
okay, would members of the committee like to express any thoughts?
So I have some questions. If I can just read through them, and then, because the committee may already have, the subcommittee that did this may already have some of these answers. So if I can just read them real quick, and then we can see what they have, if that's okay. I have some concerns. For full disclosure, I just want to remind people that I had a child at LCE, so I'm, just for transparency, I've always been an advocate of the program, and but I'm willing to hear from everybody. I want to know what the physicality of this is going to look like, if they're going to have a dedicated entrance so that they don't have to navigate the crowd, what's going to happen to their open and common space, which is extremely important. It's not just a place for their meals. They have community meetings there. They host events there. It's a safe and quiet space for kids who need to have a step out of the classroom. So I want to know if this is a space that's going to be replicated, and where they will get their meals if there isn't a common and open space. Are they going to have to navigate the cafeteria with the students from LHS and CTEI? How big is their space? How many classrooms are in the wing? Will they have room to grow? And how many students can they accommodate? And I'm curious if anybody did any research on the subcommittee about big picture learning schools that were hosted in other schools, and if it has been successful. I want to make sure that we're planning on how to keep the cultures of all of the schools, if they're sharing a space, as their own, because LHS has its own culture, LCE has its own, and so does CTEI, and I don't want to see any of these kids have to lose what makes their school their school. And I'm curious if the cost of moving and any work that needs doing was done, and if there was any effort to negotiate with Jim Whitney for a longer lease at a better price, since, and I don't want to see us rush this, the lease is not up until June, so we do have some time to have a full discussion and maybe wait a meeting and hear from Carrie when she can be here and things have calmed down with what she's going through.
So that was a lot. So there is a shelf life on letting Mr. Whitney know that we have to be out there 60 days prior, so we have to let him know. We've just begun working on physical space up there. We have 2 possible areas right now that would have about 4 classrooms with an alternate, the schedule would stay the same. It has 2 separate entrances at this point. When I spoke to Ms. Duff, she did talk about lunch, like what are we gonna do? And I haven't worked that one out perfectly yet, but we have people to help us navigate that piece. It's still early. I'd like to talk to more of the staff up there, the support staff. Maybe work with Fadi, the behavioralist up there, to let's think this thing through and do it right the first time. So all of those pieces have to be worked out with another group. This task force wasn't charged with getting all the finite details, but we've discussed many of those with Ms. Duff.
Yeah.
So she's been walking the building,
Yeah,
kind of looking around.
Came up. Did a tour of one possible area. To say that we have a specific place, no. We have an idea where we could possibly build out and create. I know the open space is an important part of what they do. It is, and she made that, yes. And so that's why one particular area was a little bit better, but there is a dedicated entrance.
And there's room for them to continue to grow.
Yeah.
There's room for them to continue to grow because their goal was to
Correct.
be able to accommodate more students, not less.
Correct.
Okay.
I hear you say room to grow to 120.
That's what's in the mission, to host 120 students. But still remain, what's really integral to their program is the small class size, the one-to-one, the immediate, connection with teachers. So we want to maintain and keep the class sizes small. We would be able to do that. And some of the things that Ms. Duff had talked to me about were about the flex hours, not holding it to this one window. We need to push out extend our hours a little bit too, to accommodate more students. Maybe take it out till 2 to 6 as well. But having the flex of those other classrooms being wide open. So she's very creative in her thinking.
I'm curious, after we have discussion, is this a vote we have to have tonight, or can we start the discussion and hold this at least until the next one and hope that we can have a chance to actually speak to Carrie when she's able to be here?
That's upon your discretion, but we need to make a decision. Because if we stay there, we have to put an RFP process out there and start bidding out space.
And there's cost either way, because there's going to need to be work done in whatever space they're going into, is that correct?
I would say there's some movement, depending on what they want the space to look like.
Yeah. Because I'd like the students to have a voice in what it should look like.
Yeah, well,
I have a question.
Go ahead, Dean.
Yes, great work putting the committee together. It looks like you've addressed, I think, all of the committee's issues. The only question I have is, it relates to was the factor, or one of the deciding factors, the cost of the space that we're leasing? Was it just an overall feeling that the program would be a better product at the high school?
The cost is not even a factor. It's minimal dollars. It's really about the resources that we have available that we can't get there in the current fiscal constraints. Carrie has come every year to say, I need this, I need this. She needs more staff to provide for her students. And we've held to less than 60 students every year. We cannot grow it any further. Like our ELL students, they have to opt out of services in order to attend. And this program actually is a perfect pathway for them. The school and the conditions are just right. And so it limits who can be in the program and who cannot.
Correct. And just as a reminder, and listen, I look forward to a lot of work put into it, no question, but when we started the program, there was additional space that the hope was, when we designed it, was to bring in more students that would help to generate enough of the cost to cover additional staffing to cover it. So I just think we need to remember that. But I would go along, if anybody wanted to wait until the next meeting, I'd be comfortable with that, or maybe just one special meeting that we could have when we could just take up the subject, because I think it's a big issue. That's just my thought.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Michael, do you have anything? I'm just going to go around the room.
Yeah, I'd like to hear from Ned Pratt. Just because I wasn't on the school committee yet, but I attended 2 school committee meetings about a year and a half ago, which he spoke at length about LCE. So I'd just like to hear.
Yeah, if you could address the sped ELL stuff, that's not where it is going on.
Sure. So to address that first,
And Ned, I'm just going to interrupt you for one quick second, just for the folks to know that this is not an open session and we will not be taking any questions or comments from the audience. So some people have their hands up, but we would not be asking you to participate.
It's a solidarity.
Oh, okay, sorry, I thought you were raising your hand because you had something.
Oh,
Okay. So I apologize.
Sorry, I was wrong.
So go ahead, Ned.
Hi, thank you. So as many of the committee members know, it's been a journey looking at the ELL and special ed services at LCE, because really most of the students there have specialized needs in so many different ways. We've done it a variety of ways, where we've had staff from the high school providing services, providing consultation services, our special ed coordinator working with teachers and principals to make sure that special ed is being implemented. And over the various iterations of teachers, we've had some folks that have had experience working with special ed in the yellow population. So it's kind of evolved, but certainly there'd be more resources at the high school to address any kind of specialized needs that we would have at LCE at this point.
Do you have anything else, Mike, before I move on?
I think that's good.
Nona?
I want to say that I like the concept of the big picture learning school. I think it serves a group of students well. I have felt that we have needed to grow the program, and I sort of wish that things that we're hearing now had been explored a year or 2 years ago on a different time element, and so that's why I'm kind of disappointed that the program hasn't grown yet. We keep hearing that it's going to grow, that there's a waiting list, and I'm hoping that should this committee choose to move it, that will happen, and that we can look at maybe changing the hours and or expanding the hours to accommodate another set of students. But I do believe in the big picture learning concept.
Thank you. Sue?
First of all, I'd like to thank all the students that came out and spoke in front of us. I applaud you all. I think it was very good. And I really appreciate it. Having served on the committee, and I would just like to say too, congratulations to Chris Castro, who was in the paper, was it today, Chris? His picture was in the paper this morning. Oh, okay, but he was in the paper, and he works for Catholic Charities. He's a poster person for LCE at this point, because I've known him since he started. He started the program. But having served on this committee,
Everyone on the committee totally supported this school. No one felt it should be eliminated. And I think today we need to look at, just being a little more creative with our, our building space, whatever, but not change what works for all of you. So I'm kind of excited because we do have a new administration. They have a lot of fresh ideas. So I think we need to give them a chance to work through it. And I'm sure everything will work out. And like I said, we don't want to alter or upset any of you in terms of if the location changes, it changes, but trust us, your best interest is, at hand. So I'd just like to say that. Thank you. Thank you. Cody?
So I've got to admit, I'm pretty torn facing this issue. I do think that we need a long-term plan for LCE. I absolutely think that growth would be excellent. With that being said, I do think the physical location of the building is a vital part of the innovation school model. I guess at this point, hearing that we don't necessarily know where these kids are going to go at this point, I'd be more comfortable delaying the vote until we could get more details. That's where I stand.
I just want to add, like Michael, I wasn't on the committee when this school and big picture learning was approved, so I've done some homework on it. I do have some questions on the curriculum and program itself because it's not something I was a part of. I don't know if these are questions that any of you could answer. I'm sure you can. I know Carrie can definitely answer them. But when I originally heard of the Leominster Center for Excellence, I was in high school myself, and a lot of students from Leominster High were moving to that building. And from what I understood at that time, they were students who didn't learn the same way that a lot of other students in Leominster High School were learning. They were at risk of dropping out. And so what I believed it to be was a smaller classroom setting. And from what I understand now, these students are able to participate in internships and workplace experience. And so I was definitely confused at that age because I knew that Mr. McCaughey had an alternative program at the high school. So I'm not asking what the differences are because I definitely know there are differences. But I'd like to know how many students at the Leominster Center for Excellence are participating in internships and workplace experience, how often they are in the classroom, as well as if they have to take the MCAS test in order to graduate. I would assume so. But do you know how many students are roughly participating in internship and workplace programs out of the 60?
Pam is here. We have a representative. I quickly want to say all.
Yes. Right. Okay. I knew they all had the option to do so. It's not an option. It's part of.
Yes. So I can answer those questions.
Thank you.
I'm Pam Gordon. I am, for the moment, helping with this. I have been at the school for, this is my 4th year there. I was an advisor to the seniors for 3 years. This year I'm the internship coordinator, and at the moment I'm the acting principal in Carrie's absence.
Okay.
So as part of the big picture learning model, internships and real world learning are an integral part of the program. So all of our students have internships.
Okay.
And all of our students go to internships 2 days a week.
Okay.
They're required to do 10 to 12 hours a week. 3 days a week, they're in classrooms from 9 to 4,
Okay.
Doing work that is advisory-based and project-based. We are a public school. As an innovation school, we're a public school. We're part of the public school district. Our teachers have a union contract. And our students all take and must pass the MCAS in order to graduate and get a high school diploma. So, but the real-world learning, and we call it learning through interests and internships, are an integral part of our program.
That's something I read in their ILPs or IPLs?
ILPs, so
ILPs.
every student also has an individualized
Right.
learning plan. And that is different from the model the very first year the school started.
Okay.
Paula might know a little bit more on the details of the history, but it was about a year into the school being in existence that it adopted became an affiliate of Big Picture Learning.
Okay. So something I would like to maybe propose to Mr. Dubzinski. When I was a student at Leominster High, I would have loved an internship as part of not curriculum, but a class perhaps. I would have loved to go out into the real world. I had no idea what I was going to do either, like many of these students, so having that experience would be fantastic for a lot of students at Leominster High. Just throwing that out there.
We actually have a program now.
Okay, great.
And you used to have a program.
So I just wanted to throw that out there. I just also want to add that I really do love the idea of the Leominster Center for Excellence, so I don't want to take anything away from that program. I'm glad that it's remaining, and I'm really, really glad that this was presented this evening because I did not know much about the committee's findings. I was not on that, so learning that they would be receiving more resources at the high school is essential.
Thank you. Ron?
I was on the committee, and I also attended many conferences on this. You did also, I think. And it's a very difficult proposition because, as Isabel said, each and every one of us learns at a different pace, good, bad, or different. And as you saw, the kids who spoke tonight, I'm pretty sure each and every one of us, we've all been there when we've had to speak in public, sometimes against our will. And it takes a little bit of courage and a little bit of je ne sais quoi. You have to be able to just say what you have to say and get it over with, even though it's not popular or people don't want to understand. I really believe this program, this LCE, needs to be maintained. The selling point that I learned at this committee that we were attending was being able to put everything together. Because as one part they were saying, sometimes some of the kids couldn't go to other parts of the schooling because they had to attend their class at LCE. Now with this thing being more combined, it's a win-win situation for the kids. The other part of the picture that we don't talk about is the cost factor. Yes, there was talk about the cost factor, that it's driven. We have to admit it. Education and the results is always driven by money. Money is a finite resource. And as the superintendent has a tendency to say, we have to, unfortunately, so not against our will, learn to spend our money wisely. As painful as that may be, we have to decide what we want and what we need. Everybody wants a Cadillac, but you only need a little four-wheel car. So, but in education, it's a long-term proposition. It doesn't finish when you finish high school. It doesn't finish when you finish trade school. And as Paula or Eileen was saying, or maybe it was Nona, if we expand the class to the evening, because I had this discussion with Paula regarding evening students, there's a significant amount of adult learners that we're not touching. That's the part that we're not talking about. Because each and every one of these kids over here, they're going to be adults. We need to have open for the adult learners too. And that's why I'm with this thing, as much as I don't want any of these kids be left apart. I want them together. It's to me, part of women's education, it's keeping the kids together, seeing how well they do for their future. Because their future is our future. It's as simple as that. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Ron. I just want to have a couple of comments. I've been on the committee for a very long time, and we've fought very hard for many, many years to come up with an alternative school. That has been something that we've been very passionate about. We've supported LCE, we've supported the big picture. Ron's correct, we've had big picture people come out and speak to us, to educate us. We've attended various conferences around it, workshops, and it is an invaluable educational modality that really has been very successful and effective for all the students here and all the students who've been there before you. So I do not want to see LCE disbanded in any way, shape, or form. The internships is an integral part, as well as the social emotional support that students get, and the close knit community that is formed. And those are things that I think that everyone understands as an integral part of the entire innovation school. So that's something that we would strive to maintain. We also were very clear that we needed to expand LCE, and that unfortunately has not happened as quickly as we had hoped it would, but I would still want to keep that growing, whether, wherever we're located. And I think a lot of thought needs to go into, making sure that, the structural integrity is maintained. But I hear a commitment to do that. So having said that, and again, I applaud everyone who spoke. You guys were extremely eloquent and very brave. It's not easy coming up and speaking in front of us and the community at large. So thank you very much for sharing. So having said all that, we're going to close the discussion piece of this, and really what we need to make a decision on, I think right now, is whether we're going to vote tonight, or if we were going to postpone it, I would only postpone it to our next meeting, because we do have decisions that need to be met in a timely fashion, and I certainly think it would be ill-advised for us to be doing things last minute, because then I don't think good decisions are made. So if someone would like to make a motion either to vote on this to accept the recommendations, or make a motion to table this. Yes. Go ahead, Dean.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So typically, we haven't voted on new matters that come before the school committee at the first introduction of that matter. And I think we should be consistent with that. And unless it's an emergency or we have to sign the lease right away, I think we should keep consistent with that.
Dean, would you like to make a motion to push this onto the next agenda for a vote?
Or a special meeting, I have no issue with either one. So that would be my motion, either a special meeting or continue into the next meeting.
Could I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
She said.
Sure. Yep.
I second it.
Yep. So we have a motion before us to push the vote off to the next meeting and/or a special meeting. And we have a second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, the motion carries. So we will be deliberating this further and having another discussion. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. We're going to move forward with the Northwest presentation.
Can I just ask that if anybody has any specific questions, that they submit them beforehand, so we're not, looking for more answers? I think, Isabel, you mentioned you didn't know a lot about it. And we do have tons of information, so we can, share that.
Yep.
I think it's important.
I'll take it. All right, so moving along, we're going to be...
Want us to take a 5-minute break while
I don't think a 5-minute break will be. If folks are not staying for the meeting, I would ask that you please exit the cafeteria so we can continue our meeting. It's difficult for us to meet when people are having separate conversations.
Everybody's up there.
So Wendy, if you want to take a seat, we're going to move on. And if folks who are staying for the meeting could please leave the cafeteria and meet outside. Okay, thank you very much, Colleen, for hosting us. Would you like to go ahead and start your presentation?
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us here as our Bulldog community comes together to pretty much celebrate a lot of what the district is doing.
Excuse me, we're having a meeting here. You need to exit the room so that we can hear the folks that are making the next presentation. Folks were respectful of your piece, we need to move on. Thank you.
Thank you. As I was saying, welcome to our Bulldog community. We have a lot in common with the high school when they were speaking that we are new to the building this year. As you know, definitely not new to education, but I'm very proud to be the new principal over here at Northwest Elementary School and to be a Bulldog. Just to kind of digress for half a second, Paula and your committee said 3 key things that kind of jumped right onto our thought process. One, that we love trophies. So if you want to take a second and take a peek over at our table, we now have the Northwest Lombardi Trophy. So the door that was best decorated for the Patriots game, we are now having a trophy and it's going to travel from class to class each year, and hopefully that'll be a legacy that we can leave here. I share that this morning because, or this afternoon, oh my gosh, I share that this evening, I think it's this evening, only because the thing with the box tops resonated with us because we will be winning the trophy for the box top, so we can put it next to the Lombardi trophy. And we are doing an awful lot of work with SEL and social emotional learning. And that's why I'm very honored and pleased to have this team sitting next to me. We have Mr. Prain, who's our assistant principal this year, and then we are joined by Allie Roach, Steph McGuirk, and Tom Hilda, who are a team of teachers who are doing some co-teaching around SEL. We just want to share a little of that with you tonight. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Prainer, and he can give you a little bit of an overview of what we're doing in the mornings.
Sure, so part of the, as we kind of build our capacity here at Northwest Elementary School and reaching all students, is that we've implemented a TBIS initiative very slowly but deliberately here called Check-In, Check-Out. Check-In, Check-Out is a Tier 2 intervention for kids that are struggling with sometimes like basic behavioral expectations, running through hallways, being disrespectful, that kind of piece. And so we've identified some students, and we're working with them each day. They come in the morning, and they greet myself and Mr. Blair, and we kind of like jazz them up for the day. We say, hey, great to see you. Can we have a great day today? And each kid has their own individualized point chart of what they need to earn at the end of the day. This kind of structures their day out very, very well, so they're getting specific positive feedback proactively from adults instead of waiting until they've done something wrong. So, in a way, we're almost catching it before it happens. You want to pass this one down? So there's 2 different charts that I'll pass around. The one going over to the right is for our older students, for 3, 4, and 5. There's no smiley faces on that, but they still get different points. On this chart, on the chart passing to the left, there's smiley faces that have the same point numbers, and kids are met throughout the day and given points and direct positive feedback on their behaviors. That structures their day, and at the end of the day, they come down to our office, our main office, and they show us their point chart, and they're extremely happy. They have positive comments written on their charts, and they just can't wait. So if they earn their points, they get a few extra minutes with us, playing with some games, building some other social skills by playing board games. They're playing with Play-Doh, they're just having conversations with one another, and we have a range of 1st grade through 5th grade that are utilizing that space at the end of the day with our office, modeling for each other. We have some 4th graders and 3rd grade girls working with some younger girls to model different expectations to make sure that they're having effective days throughout the week. We collect data, so we have data-driven decision-making. We meet with students. We just met, actually, our first round of students with the data. We charted out, and then kids are able to take that data and own their own data and own their own success to make sure that they're moving forward with their day. There's just not some random charts that we're giving them. They have actual meaning. They go home to their parents, go home to their teachers. We use that data collection for our TAC team, for different decision-making opportunities, and we continue to slowly build that out. Actually, Mr. Gilduff is one of the check-in, check-out people too, for one of the other grades, because we have, as our caseload grows a little bit, we're reaching out to some different teachers. The 5th grade is doing phenomenal with this, where they identify different kids, and in their own group, and in their own 5th grade, they've identified different check-in, check-out people within their own team to build those positive relationships throughout the day with the 5th graders. Do you have any questions about that?
Sounds great.
So in case you're wondering what the little boxes are at your tables, those are the little boxes that we put out at every meeting and every event. And you have little crates of toys in there, little Play-Doh already, so it's working. Usually I have a slinky in my hand too, if fidgeting with something, but tonight I have tissues. So please, feel free to see what's in there and then have a good time with the Play-Doh and slinkies and whatever it is while we move on to our little lesson in social emotional learning, which is fantastic teamwork here.
So Tom and I are both resource room teachers. Between us, we teach students in grades 3, 4, and 5. We share a classroom space with some division. And our students receive so many services, speech and language, occupational therapy, physical therapy. We also have 6 students who are getting EL services. So we recruited staff to come and work with us once a week so that we could have some inclusion opportunity for occupational therapy. And as part of that, given the level of stress and anxiety that so many of our students have coming in, which definitely interferes with their availability for learning, we have, between the 3 of us, looked at alternatives for different lessons to teach the kids how to cope and recognize what is happening with their emotions and how to grab a hold of that.
Okay, so I'm actually gonna, you wanna go next and talk about the zones and then talk about the lesson?
Sure. So we're talking specifically about the 4 zones of regulation. They are the red zone, in which you are experiencing anger, rage, explosive behavior, devastation, or terror. Below that is the yellow zone, where you are feeling stress, frustration, anxiety, excitement, silliness, the wiggles, or nervousness. And then below that is the green zone, where you're feeling more calm, generally happy, focused, content, and ready to learn. And then lastly is the blue zone, where you're feeling sad, tired, sick, or bored. So we'll speak more of that in a minute.
So I go in on Friday mornings for an hour, and we do we kind of, like Allie said, we do a co-teach lesson. And this past Friday, what we did is we gave each student a set of paint chip cards with the different colors. And prior to them kind of doing this on their own, we brainstormed different ways to get us out of the different zones and get us back into the green zone. So, like Allie said, many of the kids in this class are also on my caseload. I am an occupational therapist. Many of them have some sensory needs and tend to have some, difficulty focusing, attending, and whatnot. So they are familiar with some of these sensory strategies. So we brainstormed a list of kind of what you could do to get you back in the green zone, and then what we had asked them to do is for each student to take the 4 cards and then write a different strategy within each block to tell us kind of how you could help regulate yourself. And
They actually got it. They got it. They got it. They understood it. They got it because unfortunately I think they know when they're feeling that way. And so there are times they don't get what I'm trying to tell them. Don't get me wrong, but for whatever reason, they were like right on. And some of these kids were like, oh, when I feel this way, I have to start organizing. And I was like, oh, that's pretty impressive, you know, like, yeah, that's a good strategy. And, you know, other kids who rarely want to even kind of participate came out and said, oh, well, you know, when I'm feeling this way, I just have to kind of go into my room and play my video games by myself for a few minutes. And I'm like, yep, all right. So, you know, I think what we then did is we collected them, and there's just some samples that we have. Don't look at the handwriting, still working on that. Won't judge. But if you just, I don't know if you want to pass them around to take a look at what some of the kids did. Do you want to add anything?
Sure. The main objective of all of this is to give the kids some ownership so that as they become older, they're more independent in managing themselves and assuming some responsibility for their own behavior and the choices that they're making. And the key to that is understanding what's driving them. And when you are in a heightened emotional state or a very depressed emotional state, you can't function effectively. None of your executive functioning skills are available to you. And to teach the kids how to recognize how that feels within their own bodies and then give them some strategies for managing that is the best thing we can do for them.
Questions? Does anybody have any questions? Steph, how many students do you work with at a time?
In this particular
Yeah.
class or in general? So we kind of do it as a full class, but I would say between the two rooms, there's probably 12 kids in the combined class that are on my caseload.
Do you ever use activity? I've read how sometimes when students come to school first, they're not ready to settle down to do their work yet if they go and they do some exercises and that type of thing. Then all of a sudden they seem to be ready to settle down. Do you do any of that?
Yeah, with the check-in, check-out piece that we talked about earlier, that's a really good way to simply check in with a student because they come down right after announcements, which is like 8:35 in the morning. So that's like fresh in their minds, and that's a really good opportunity for Colleen and I to see where the kid's at. If they need a little bit more extra time, that's okay. We have the time. Like they can sit in our office. We kind of check in with a little bit, like what happened last night. Did they have breakfast? Are you hungry? Give them a little bit of food. Maybe they missed breakfast. We just grab something for them. Maybe something big happened that night, and they just need some time with a counselor. And those are things that we can do in the moment and catch those things and be really proactive with our students to make sure that things don't spiral out of control.
Yeah, but physical activity.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Nona, and I'm laughing a little bit inside because one of the things when I first came into this position, not here but in the district, was I was watching Ellen and she had everybody dancing at the beginning of her show. So I had this dream, and I know now that everything's out there on Facebook, I'm not going to be that person that's get the whole school going at the same time. But I would love to figure out a way to start the school like with an activity like that in the morning or some kind of movement, physical activity. And I know that there's a lot of support on board.
A lot of kids to settle down and being able to then they kind of gotten it out of their system.
That and in conjunction with, we're looking at the breakfast program in the morning, bringing breakfast into the classrooms. We've been over to Southeast. We have a team of teachers that are going over to look at that as well, so that we can look at morning meeting time and kind of move from there. We have a team of volunteers that we meet like monthly, sometimes bi-monthly, and it's teachers that are just part of this PBIS team, and they just are looking at different ways to improve the building, maybe physically, maybe emotionally, maybe just academically, and then we're looking at all kinds of different things.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. move on to Nature's Classroom.
Oh, we're very excited about this. This has been a little, when you talk about having a passion in education, I have to say, Jen Mundy has been very passionate about getting Nature's Classroom up and running, and it is booming right now.
And it's happening,
And
so it's really exciting.
Full circle.
So, thanks to Samoset and Skyview's principals, administrative team, and staff being on board, I really, this wasn't me, this was really a collective. We had lots of stakeholders involved, and people, all people, even my counterparts in curriculum, I think are excited about this too. And so the 6th grade is going to be going from March 11th to March 15th. Samoset is going from the 11th to the 13th, so it's just a 2-night stay, 3 days. We figured we'd start out slow. And then Skyview is going to go from March 13th to March 15th, and they're going to Charlton. And unless the weather is horrendous, unless there's a natural disaster happening, they're going to be outside, whether it's snowing, raining, and it's about the exposure for these young people and doing things that they don't typically get to do. Whenever I bring this up to other folks, I remember my time when I went in 5th grade, a long time ago, but then when other people, if they've gone, they say, oh yeah, I remember it too. It's one of those pieces that I'm just really excited about them. Part of it, so let's see, there are all chaperones there will be going, 11 chaperones at Skyview. I'm including our parent liaison, so she'll be able to support our students in the L program, which is super awesome. And then there are 5 chaperones currently going for 65 students at Samoset, and they'll add a 6th if necessary. I don't think I told you the total for Skyview. 136 right now. So it's almost 50%, probably around 45% of students going from the 6th grade. Skyview had a sock fundraiser that many students took advantage of that. We also had a donation from the Wallace family, a very generous one, to be able to help reduce the cost for students. Short and sweet, but it's really exciting. David, any questions?
This is extremely exciting. I've never had this opportunity, so it wasn't something I was very familiar with. It was optional?
Yes.
So, what's going to be going on for the kids who aren't going? What are they going to be doing in the actual classrooms, not the outdoor classrooms?
So I don't know specifics, but I know that they've set it up where there will be more team teaching happening. And I believe some activities, some SEL, but more similar to Nature's Classroom from what I heard. So what was that thing that we had done before? Oh, the escape room, something of that to that effect. So there will still be fun activities happening for them.
Is it usually typically this grade, like 5th, 6th grade type thing?
Yes, you can decide.
I've been a teacher when I was still in the classroom a really long time ago. So I went for a couple of consecutive years, and it's really based and anchored in this team building, and it's just an exposure that students wouldn't get otherwise. Yeah, it's very exciting.
So we're going to change this every year now?
Yeah.
Going forward?
Yes.
This is very exciting. Good job. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else have?
So it's 100% supported by the fundraising and the students?
So families, everybody had to pay, and so there was a cost to it. But what we had said was for any student that wanted to go, we would support them however we could. So everyone has the opportunity to be able to go. And I think overall, looking at the numbers, with it being the first time since when Gina was a principal back in a little while ago, I think that it's just that everybody's had having an opportunity to go. So,
do we have a nurse going too? Or?
We don't need one. So Nature's Classroom provides that because of this. And so our nurses have checked everything out, and the students that are going, there's no major medical situation. So,
the places that Where are they going to be staying overnight? I mean, what kind of building
physical?
is it?
They stay in it's in the packet, it's a big log, no, I shouldn't say log, but it's a big cabin-esque, I believe. Oh yeah, there's heat there, there's running water, there's bathrooms.
Somehow I guess I just missed it, that it was gonna be March, and I just think of the polar vortex coming back.
Yeah, it's.
No more polar vortex.
I hope not.
Unless it's like, I mean, these folks have been doing this for years, since the 1970s, so they.
Kids given a list of things that they have to bring, or?
Oh, yes, yeah, basics, nothing new. And from the families that I've talked with, they're really excited about it. Their kids are really excited about it.
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity.
I know other students from other districts who've gone, and they absolutely love it. And it's very educational and fun, and it's sort of a rite of passage. Everybody looks forward to doing it, so. All right, so could I have a motion to approve Nature's Cost? We've got a second run. All those in favor? All right, motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. Be nice to, just
but I
have
wanna
a little
go.
follow-up how it went.
He wants to go.
Okay. Tell him he can chaperone.
Dean, you can, Paula says you can chaperone.
All right.
All right, we're gonna move forward with the,
I'll record your vote, okay?
Thank you.
And your vote on the other two trips also?
Yes.
Okay, did you want to go?
Well, what else is in here?
Just a minute.
Okay, now go. You need to just tell me that.
Okay, I will.
all right, thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you.
Yeah, bye.
We're on the FY20 budget process timeline.
Yeah, we just provided one for the committee that we will start pushing forward because we're in budget season. So we met this evening prior, and we'll be meeting next Tuesday and moving forward with the same budget process we used last year. So the calendar is in there, so if you want to attend, you know where we'll be.
And are we going to be getting sort of reports around like budget year to date and all those kinds of things so we can make informed decisions?
Absolutely.
Because I don't think we've been given some of the reports we typically get.
Yes. Yes, we discussed that this evening.
To do, okay.
We tend to get back on track with the report.
Yeah, that would be helpful for the rest of the committee. All right, moving forward, we have subcommittee reports. Michael, would you like to give the finance subcommittee report?
Well, as you said, we discussed the issue of the reporting, so we expect to get back on track with that. We have, business office now has a position that was missing, it's just been filled. We have warrants.
It always worries me when you say warrants and he starts chuckling.
Well, you should see,
I'll make a motion to accept the following warrants. Warrant 22 for $448,633.06. Warrant 23 for $2,333,137.76. Warrant 24 for $272,650.97. Warrant 25 for $2,519,697.32. Warrant 26 for $86,776.17. Warrant 27 for $2,147,258.30. Warrant 28 for $382,063.50. Warrant 29 for $2,156,652.62. Warrant 30 for $698,236.62. And out of the grants and revolving funds, warrant 22 for $11,766.26. Warrant 23 for $226,125.39. Warrant 24 for $128,299.15. Warrant 25 for $437,745.07. Warrant 26 for $59,361.79. Warrant 27 for $146,585.73. Warrant 28 for $11,645.68. Warrant 29 for $530,366.15. And warrant 30 for $100,365.89.
I'll second.
Sue seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
That's it.
Okay, Wendy, anything for the policy subcommittee?
No, we have not had our first meeting yet of the year, so nothing to report from policy.
Okay, thank you. So we'd like to move on to the approval of minutes. We've got the December 3rd, 2018 and January 7th, 2019.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Oh, sorry, were you about to? Go ahead. Of the December 3rd, 2018 and January 7th, 2019 minutes.
Second. Any omissions, typos, errors? Okay, all those in favor? Motion carries. Good job, Chris. We'll move right on to action items. We have the approval of the Disney trip.
That's the LHS Music Department, the annual trip, so we need an approval on that.
Could I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Isabel?
I'll make a motion to approve the Disney trip, field trip for the Leominster High School band.
Second.
And Ron was seconding it? Any?
Unless you want to say.
That's it. Any other comments? All right, all those in favor? It's a wonderful trip, having been there with them at one point in time, they do a phenomenal job. Yeah. Then we have the Washington DC trip.
That's the annual 8th grade for our middle schools to Washington DC, so we need to vote for that.
I'll make a motion to approve the annual Washington DC 8th grade trip.
I'll second.
Isabel will second. All those in favor? Another wonderful trip that students really have phenomenal learning and lots of fun. And we've already done Nature's Classroom. We have an acceptance of a gift tonight.
Yes, Renee Koska won.
We were at the case conference, and we and I each won one.
It's a workshop, but it says there's a value, but it's a gift to a staff member to participate, so we just want approval to accept this gift.
And actually, they're paying for our preschool.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Great. That's wonderful.
Motion to accept the gift.
Excellent. Would I have a second, please? Ron?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Okay, motion carries. That's a wonderful opportunity. Congratulations for being lucky. Benefiting our school system. Any old or new business?
Okay, as of today, papers are available at the city clerk's office for any elected position in the city. And I would like to state that I will not be running for re-election as the Ward 4 rep of this committee. I've enjoyed my tenure on this committee, and I look forward to completing this year and serving the children of Leominster. By making this decision this early, it will give Ward 4 residents an opportunity to think about serving. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any new or old business?
So I'm hoping this would never happen, but what if the government shuts down again when the kids are going to DC?
Oh my God.
I mean, seriously, we know that it's only approved right now for 3 weeks, and I mean, I just want to put it out there that there's no way they could go to DC if the government shut down, or they shouldn't go to, the parks are closed and everything. Right, so I just want to put that out there. Think about it or whatever, right?
We'll have conversations about it. I think this happened one other year, and they went to
well, there was something going on with, I think it was after 9/11. We did not send students to Washington DC. Instead, they went to Williamsburg that year. So I don't.
One time, a long time ago, instead of going to DC, they went to Gettysburg.
So, and again, some of those are still, federal, but there could be potential, other alternatives that can be explored, but I know at least, on one occasion that, I'm aware of another occasion that they did something different, so. Alrighty, excellent. Anybody else have anything in old business? Ron?
I just wanted to ask, that lady who spoke and said she had sent out an email, never got any one. I didn't get her name, but somehow get her name and give her our bona fide
We already sent the
emails,
message.
please.
Yeah, it's already been sent.
Because otherwise, we have this written on our forehead.
Yeah.
So I always try to answer back my email.
Absolutely. Please acknowledge that we received them.
Yeah, also, I just think that we need to double check the website that has the correct information, because I know the head of the cultural council approached me about sending out an email to all the school committee members for a function that they're going to be having. And I said, oh, it's on the website. And she came back to me and said, no, it's not on the website. And I looked, and she was right. It's not on the website. So I think we need to get that on.
I would like to request an update on, I know for next meeting, it doesn't have to be today, but Alumni Field, I know there was a meeting with the abutters again, and just wondering where we are in the process of getting that started. The poor track folks have been waiting forever, and it would be, everybody else can benefit, but certainly that is a huge group that yet again has to postpone having home meetings.
And since you requested, can you give us an update on Project Apples?
Yes, they're coming forward when we are at Fruit Street.
Wendy? So I didn't know Nona was going to be making that announcement today. I have shared with a few people that I'm not pulling papers this time around after 2 terms, and it's been a great honor to be a voice for the kids of the city. I just have decided not to seek re-election, and will be supporting some people who will be running, but I think you guys all be in great hands, and it's been a real honor to be involved.
Wendy, can you just let people know, what area?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm an at-large member, so it would be an at-large seat.
Both of you will be greatly missed, and I'm very disappointed to hear about both of you, so, but I can certainly understand. Isabel, were you going to say something?
We got lots.
All right.
Could I have a motion to adjourn?
No, I have nothing.
How about make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Excellent, second. All those in favor? Thank you very much.